You're welcome back, and let's take a look once again at our previous stories, focusing on the road accidents that we've recorded. 28 persons dying and 48 getting injured over the festive period. 148 individuals also suffered various degrees of injuries. And thankfully, we've been joined on the phone by the lady in charge of public affairs for the National Road Safety Commission, PEL GC. And then also my colleague, Maswala Bogba, joins me via Zoom with the details in terms of the figures that we have. Before I bring in PEL, if you can hear me, welcome, PEL GC.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Pearl. Many thanks for your company. Right. Well, let me bring in my colleague Maxwell Agbagba also, so that we go through the details of the figures as we've put out. Maxwell, let's walk through the figures in terms of what we have on the accidents that we recorded over the festive period. Okay, Maxwell is unable to hear me, but Dr. Sasumensa, can you hear me, Dr. Sasumensa?
Yes, I can now hear you.
Great. Thank you so much for your patience as well. So yes, I was asking.
I am Superintendent Dr. Sasumensa.
Okay, thank you very much. So let's talk about the figures, the data that we have in terms of the accidents that have been recorded over the festive period, for instance. What, in your estimation, could have accounted for where we are today?
Yes,
I can hear you. Please go on.
Yes, the crux of the matter has to do with the fact that festive occasions like Christmas,
I can hear you, please.
Festive occasions like Christmas and New Year, it has been an annual ritual that accident rates occur. So basically what we are saying is that...
Okay, so we're having a terrible connection to you, Superintendent Doctor. If you can hear me, you would have to lower the volume of your set so you can listen to me directly. Otherwise, you'll keep on hearing yourself and we'll have that feedback. So whilst you rectify that, let me bring in my colleague, Maxwell Agwagba. Maxwell, let's go through the data as we have it.
So, so for the period 19th December to 5th December, so we're looking at a period of 10 days. 81 lives from 73 crashes. Now, across the first 8 with 150 reported crashes, and followed closely by the Ashanti region with 90 reported cases. Now, the Savannah region is the only region without a reported accident case. On the other hand, the Northeast region reported 1 case. Also, the MTTD also compiled data for 24th to 26th December. Now, 28 people, 28 were lost within this 2-hour window. So 148 others were. Again, Accra was the worst hit with 44 reported accident cases, followed closely by the Ashanti region with 22 reported cases. Then, so we're talking about 24 this period as well. In addition, the Half region that previously recorded 2 cases in the period preceding Christmas did not register any case. Quite worrying, I must say, MFA.
Well, so that's the figure. Even though we had difficulty hearing you, Maxwell Abuba, many thanks for your company. Has been walking us through the figures, the regional breakdown as we have it, especially for the festive season in terms of accidents that we've recorded. Let me bring in Superintendent Dr. Sasumensa, Director MTTD, on phone this time. Hopefully we have a better connection. The machines want to go on holiday as well, but that's what is not going to happen. Superintendent Doctor, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can now hear you.
Super. Thank you so much for your patience once again. So we're doing some analysis in terms of what could have gone wrong in terms of the figures that we've recorded over this period. Is it the figure that you have? First off, is it surprising, and what could have accounted for it?
It's very, very, very surprising. The crux of the issue is that what we really recognize is that during Easter or Christmas and festive occasions like this, what we realize is that road traffic crashes always soar, always increase, but not to these levels and to this extent. The crux of the issue has to do with the fact that most of the drivers are not respecting traffic rules and traffic regulations. They are breaching traffic rules and traffic regulations with impunity that it deserves. That is why we always say that about 80 to 90% of the road traffic crashes that is being witnessed on the road in Ghana is attributable to the human factor. And the human factor has to do with what? Indiscipline by drivers of vehicles. That is the main crux of the problem. What we are increasingly seeing on the roads is that so many people who are driving on our roads are not abiding by traffic rules and regulations simply because of the fact that even what we call the Road Traffic Act, what we call the road traffic regulation, they have not even seen it before. I've not seen what is called the Road Traffic Act or what is called the road traffic regulation. It's like you are a preacher going to the church to preach, yet you have not even seen the Bible or you have not read its content. That is what is being replicated by drivers on the use of the road. It is against this background of the fact that the road traffic crashes are increasing at a very, very alarming rate. And that is very, very, very worrying.
Then what then do we say to those who say that it appears that when you breach the rules or the regulations of the Road Traffic Act, it appears nothing really happens. It appears it's not deterrent enough such that people would continue to break these rules, leading to the deaths and the injuries that we keep recording?
No, that is not that. The police, as a matter of fact, we are continuing with enforcing the rules and regulations. Most of them, we have gone on several operations. We have gone with the National Road Safety Authority on education and awareness creation, as well as enforcement. But what we ought to do now is to increase the pace and to make sure that we educate and inform and enforce at the same time. So we are going to strictly combine education with strict and rigorous, as well as rigorous enforcement of the road traffic rules and regulations. Just as we also expect that we are going to digitize our operations so that enforcement will be very, very busy. Will be very, very easy for us to operate. So it's about combining education and enforcement to make sure that at the end of the day, we will be able to downsize the road traffic problem. And as we also see, road safety is a shared and collective responsibility. The police, our role is to enforce the traffic rules and regulations. Just as you are media men and women, you are supposed to also to contribute to the educational efforts, just as the National Road Safety Authority. So it is a combined effort that we should all combine forces to ensure that these things that are causing the road traffic accidents, we are able to address them within the shortest possible.
For us here at JoyNews and all our platforms, I'm sure you're very well aware of our Drive Safe campaign as a way of educating the public on this as well. But we know the figures in terms of the deaths and the number of people who sustain injuries. That's 28 deaths and 148 various degrees of injuries.
Within the period, that's 24th and 25th.
Exactly.
24th to 26th. We have also collated data from 19th to 25th.
And how does it look like?
That one is also very worrying.
You have the figures with you to provide, to share with us?
Yes, the figure for the 19th to 25th December indicates the persons who were injured were 378. And during that time, that period of time, 81 persons or 81 people also died. From 19th to 25th, 81 persons died throughout the country, and it is increasingly very worrisome.
And prior to December, we had already almost 1,000 cases when it comes to our road crashes.
So it's basically attributable to indiscipline by those who are driving our vehicles on our various routes and highways. That is the key factor. They don't respect traffic rules and regulations, and even the traffic rules and regulations, they have not seen the content of what is in the Road Traffic Act and what is the road traffic regulation.
Okay.
So they are not able to abide by them. That seems to be problematic. And during this year, we should be seen seemingly trying or get great effort towards addressing this issue. Drivers should be educated and sensitized to abide by traffic rules and traffic regulations.
Okay.
That seems to be the key issue why the road traffic crashes are increasing at a very alarming rate.
Well, Superintendent, thankfully you provided us these figures from the 19th all the way to the 26th. It appears is skyrocketing. But I want to find out if we have figures in terms of arrests also of the corporates of these, those who cause these accidents, amongst others.
The arrest, they are there, and we shall release it to you very soon. But it's just unfortunate that I couldn't bring the data along with me. But they are there. We have also been trying to arrest, and we are arresting.
Okay.
Most of the various arrests.
Great. At least it's assuring that some arrests also have been made.
The year. By the close of the year, we will come out with the number of people we have arrested and the various fines and penalties that they have paid.
At the last count, I know you don't have the data or accurate data with you now, but at the last count, how did it look like?
By November, it was around the fines that we have gotten was above 10,000 Ghana cedis. Okay. Yes, it was above. Yes, it was getting to 20,000 Ghana cedis.
And the persons involved, the numbers.
Yes, they are only some. They only pay the fine. They pay it from region to region, and very soon tomorrow I will just make it available to you.
I'm grateful, Superintendent. I'm indeed grateful for your time. That's Superintendent Dr. Samuel Sasumensa, is Director MTTD. So you can see the regional breakdown on your screen as I bring in Pearl Edusujesi. She's in charge of public affairs for the National Road Safety Commission. I'm sure they're also worried about this particular situation. Pearl, really, what are your thoughts in terms of the figures that we've put out from the 19th to the 26th? Of December? We're told recently, at least between 24th and 26th, we had 28 deaths and 148 injuries. We are learning now that 300 injuries were recorded from the 19th to the 24th or so. Adding to these figures, it appears that it's not good at all for December. The MTTD describes it as surprising. What would the National Road Safety Commission say about the figures that we recorded in December alone? Hello, Madam Pearl Edusujesi. It doesn't look like we have Pearl on the phone. Pearl, if you can hear me via Zoom, please, if you can unmute. Whilst we wait for Pearl to do that, these are the figures that we have in terms of the crashes. You see how it's looking like, and then the injuries and the deaths. Pearl, you can hear me now. Thanks so much for your company once again.
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Great. Yeah. So I was asking your thoughts.
Yeah. I'm saying that this continuous increase in the statistics from our end is alarming and very worrying. Very, very worrying and unacceptable. Can you hear me now?
Perfect, I can.
Hello?
Yes, I can.
Yeah,
please continue.
And unacceptable. And I, as Dr. Sasu rightly said, all hands must be on board. Collaboration and continuous education and rigorous enforcement should come in so that we put in more effort in finding a permanent solution to this menace. This is really a menace when we put the statistics together.
Well, in spite of this alarming situation as you describe it, you know that prior to it, there was intense education. And we're told that comparing these figures 2021 to 2022, it appears 2021 was worse. What then could have gone wrong? Because you campaigned, you spoke about it, you educated. From your understanding of the situation, what could have gone wrong?
Thank you. Before I continue, the National Road Safety is no more a commission, it is an authority. And so you correct that.
You're seeing it on the screens, it will be corrected.
As Dr. Sasu is saying, the crack of the matter is indiscipline. Basically, indiscipline on the part of road users. There is a saying that road safety is a shared and collective responsibility. And if we have to bring these statistics down, as we educate, we sensitize, we create the awareness, the other party, which is the road user, must do its part. Just take it that the roads are bad. Take it that there is no enforcement. You need to take your own safety into your hands and not to flout the traffic rules and regulation. One sad aspect of this is that Dr. Sasu said some of the road users or drivers have not even seen the road traffic rules and regulations before, and the contents are not known to them. If the contents are not known, how do you apply them to improve road safety? That is why we do outrages as part of our educational mandate. But the sad news is that sometimes the drivers who are directly involved in these crashes, when you take the good message news to them, they don't even listen. Only a few comes around. They are eager to work, go on the street, and look for money. But at the end of the day, they don't even know what the rules and regulations are. Even if the few that know, they flout it. And so these are the major or the crack of the issue. This is the crack of the issue. And also, irresponsibility, partly on the part of duty bearers. If we are all up and doing, I think this problem will be solved halfway by now. But I don't know. We need enforcement, tightened, rigorous enforcement, coupled with the education. That is what will do the trick. But when we relax in our bid to enforce these rules because they don't know, and then when they are apprehended or prosecuted, the sanctions meted out to them is not very, very harsh to deter themselves and others. These things will continue to happen on our roads, despite the rigorous and continuous education and the pumping in of money for campaigns that we do from our end.
Okay, well, so at least partly the issue, as Superintendent Dr. Sasu Mensah and yourself have espoused, has to do with these corporates or drivers, road users, not appreciating the road traffic regulations. Is there a way? We know that the NCC, for instance, prints out the Constitution, shares them wherever they go. Apart from just educating, is there a way, do we have a plan to ensure that some portions of the Road Traffic Regulations Act is made available everywhere you go so that these drivers can have an understanding and appreciation, and not just in English language, but also in the various local languages so they can understand what it is that they have to do?
Thank you very much. This is what we do, but we'll now increase the space. We'll now make it more ready, available. We'll have to tighten our belt. Our offices are all over the country, and every region, when they go out for outreach, they speak the languages that the indigenes, the natives understand. We don't, even in Accra, when we go to a Gan settlement, we speak Gan. When we go to an Akan settlement, we do. And even with the information center we have established now and will be opening soon, all the various major Ghanaian languages are there. And so even if you call Hausa, you'll get somebody who attends to you. You call Dakmani, you'll get somebody who attends to you, as well as all the other major Ghanaian languages. So we try as much as possible to break down the level of communication into our own local languages, so that those who don't understand the English language and cannot communicate effectively with it will understand and appreciate what it is for them in their contribution in promoting road safety. And so this is what we do. But I think this year we'll do more than we've been doing, because when we don't put ourselves in there and educate them more, even with DVLA, we are planning of this continuous compulsory driver education. We are breaking everything down into the local languages so that they will understand and appreciate. We started the pilot in 2019, but because of the coming of COVID, we stopped. We are continuing. This 2022 will continue. That continuous driving education, the parts of the regulations will be brought to them and they will be taught. That is what we started by having some enforcement action plan with DVLA and then the MTTD. The Section 65 who brought the unprescribed life that they are violating. We explain it to them that the Section 65 of the road traffic regulation stipulates that there is a number of lights you should put on your vehicle and a specific place and color that you should put. When you violate it, these and these are the sanctions that apply. And we did that and did an enforcement action, removing them, educating them to appreciate what the section of that traffic regulation is saying. And we did another one recently by giving us some directives already in the traffic regulation that they didn't know and were not operationalized or was not already operationalized. We went to them, we explained to them how they should apply it and what sanctions will follow if they don't. And our road safety inspectors that we recently employed and built capacity for have been going out randomly, checking whether they are putting this into operation. So we will increase the awareness more by taking portions, as we rightly said, from the road traffic regulation and then teach them, educate them, so they will best appreciate and apply it on the road. Okay. If only they will, because we've been constantly going on outrages and preaching these words to them. As Dr. Sasu said, this road traffic regulation, it's like the Bible. It's like the menu on the road. When you violate it, the consequences is crash, death, and its resultant injuries.
Well, taking a look at the breakdown as we have it, the regional breakdown, it appears there are certain regions that are doing relatively well than other regions. I'm sure there are some key learnings from these areas that I'm sure it's worth noting as an authority.
Yeah, as it was spelled out, Greater Accra, Ashanti region, the Eastern region, followed by Central, Western. You know, there are a lot of vehicles there. Mobility is much there. Population is there much. And a lot of business activities goes on there. And a lot of the highways passes through these towns and cities. That is why most of the time we see the number of those regions increasing. And so that is it. Most of the other regions, a few vehicles apply there. They are not much. The wrongful overtaking. You know, we mostly in our communities have single lanes. So most of the accidents comes as a result of wrongful overtaking, head-on collision, and then when the traffic congestion, people in a hurry to go and they bump into each other. So the places or the cities where we have heavy vehicular and population increment, you see that the cases of crashes increase as well in those regions.
Okay. We are grateful. That's Pearl Ebusujesi. She's the PRO, National Road Safety Authority, and we've been getting some worrying figures on the number of road crashes that we've recorded in the festive period alone. Between 19th and 24th, we have over 300 injuries, and then between 24th and 26th or so, we had about 148 injuries and then 28 deaths. We'll do the maths and we'll give you the total figures after this break.